depress or erase Jeffrey Epstein's name or memory from the American people, the operation has officially backfired. Now there are members of Congress who are calling for Jeffrey Epstein's clients to be hung publicly, find them guilty and hang them publicly, says Tim Burchett. One of our all-time favorite guests on our show, Tim Burchett, is a very salty-mouthed Tennessee member of Congress who just told a bunch of reporters outside of the Capitol building where we are right now, if they're found guilty, hang them publicly. I'm over it. Burchett has made a lot of news on our show talking about the Epstein files, and it looks like we have our first public hanging in a while. I don't know. Here's a clip, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll play you what Tim told us on our live stream.
Should there be an investigation or a special counsel investigation?
I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I just find them guilty and hang them publicly. I mean, that's not over the top either. I'm ready. I'm over it. It disgusts me. I'm big on clarity and transparency, and you know, that's a good reason people don't trust government, either party.
But you don't believe what the Justice Department is saying?
I don't know. You know, I don't. I don't trust them.
Tim Burchett is just a legend for our show, and obviously for the American people, because, well, they're sick of elites of betraying us and getting preferential treatment. And I don't know if hangings are still legal in states, but I'll tell you what, Mike Johnson was on our stream and was saying we need to release all the Epstein files now, and also that Ghislaine Maxwell could testify. Maybe Ghislaine Maxwell could tell us the truth. I mean, duh, right? Doesn't that seem logical? I think it's most important right now is that it's officially backfired. This whole cover-up operation is officially toast. Donald Trump's now saying that we should release whatever's credible. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Burchett has made a ton of news on our program by calling for the release of the Epstein files way before anyone was even talking about it, before Trump was even in the White House. Tim Burchett went on our show and said the reason why this won't happen is because too many of the members of Congress are in the Epstein files. Here's the original clip right here of members of Congress winding up naked. Congressman, you represent the state of Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn has been completely blackballed in the Senate for asking for these flight logs to be released and for this client list to be released. It seems like now you are fighting with her in the House. Why the protection mechanism? And more importantly, you mentioned recently in an interview that there may be some members of Congress who are personally compromised by this, and they don't want the truth to get out. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, 100%. You got powerful people, and they write the big checks. Well, let's be honest. In powerful people in this country, they write the big checks. And they're the ones out on the tarmac when the president comes and visits, and whichever party they're in. They always either out on the tarmac or in the private room. They're the ones that write the big checks. They don't care who's in. They hate this country. They hate what we're about, but they love their portfolios and they love their money more than they do anything else. And they protect it, and they protect the people that do that. And by doing so, the old honeypot, the Russians do that, and I'm sure members of Congress have been caught up. Why in the world would good conservatives vote for crazy stuff like is what we've been seeing out of Congress? It's how it works. You're visiting, you're out of the country or out of town, or you're in a motel or a bar in D.C., and whatever you're into, women or men or whatever, comes up and they're very attractive and they're laughing at your jokes and you're buying them a drink. Next thing you know, you're in the motel room with them naked, and next thing you know, you're about to make a key vote, and what happens? Some well-dressed person comes up and whispers in your ear, "Hey man, there's tapes out on you. Were you in a motel room on whatever with whoever?" And then you're like, "Uh-oh," and said, "You really ought not be voting for this thing." I mean, and what do? It's human nature. And, no man or no woman actually is an island, and they know what to get at. If it's women, drugs, booze, it'll find you in D.C. and in most elected offices. And that's what people of power and influence do. And it's just, I've been in this game my whole life. I spent 16 years in the state legislature in Tennessee and 8 years as county mayor. and now I'm in my 5th year of Congress. But it's just the stakes are higher, but the game is still the same.
And ladies and gentlemen, here's Tim Burchett today on our program describing what he believes is going to happen next in Congress for individuals who may have been implicated in the Epstein scandal. It's been a very, very productive day up here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing to be part of this news cycle and to keep the pressure up, to heat up. These people should know no peace. You know what I mean? Here's Tim Burchett from our stream. I'm sure there's a lot of people, potentially at the Justice Department, that wish we would wrap the interview right now. Here's the reason why. You've been on this show for years, telling us that there is some real problems in this building with some creepy people that don't want the Epstein list to get out and don't want there to ever be any accountability. Now, lo and behold, Congressman, you turn out to be one of the most right men in the history of Congress. It's also gotten you a lot of media.
Yeah.
People in the media space have noticed this man tells the truth, even when it's
Got a lot
unpopular.
of hatred from members too.
Sure,
They're all ticked off at me saying this stuff, but it's the truth. I mean, when I said that the last time, we were talking about that prostitution ring, and I said, we talked about the Chinese and everything, and lo and behold, next week, Chinese prostitution ring, and lo and behold, the black book disappeared. And they said influential politicians, government contractors they thought were on that list. And you know, and everybody, oh, Burchett's an idiot. And then, of course, the next week, I hated being right that quick. But it's a reality. I mean, you got dirtbags up here. And I'm hoping, though, I heard the president's daughter-in-law say that they were going to release something. And Trump's just now released some stuff on the Epstein. They're getting ready to crank some stuff out. So.
Wow. Wait, that's news. Maybe
you might want to get it off of Truth Social or something. I think I just saw something a minute ago. Somebody showed it to me as I was in passing.
President,
and I thought,
okay, fantastic. This is a question that we have. It's one of the most popular questions, and you're one of our single most popular guests, Congressman.
Incredibly good looking if you want to throw that in.
And he's handy. He's handy with a
coat
fan.
tie. What's up with that, dude?
I know, man. We had this. I didn't want a Zelensky the speaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I can't
That's class act. That's class act. I think the suit. Go ahead, bro.
So here we go. Please ask this question to him. Please, Mr. Congressman. Epstein was a human trafficker. Who was he trafficking humans to? Ghosts or actual people? Are there any members of Congress that are being blackmailed because of this?
Well, I have no idea. I think that's generally the gist of what his operation was about. But here's my thoughts on it. Everybody says Trump's on that list. Well, Trump's not on that list. Obviously, if he was, Biden would have released that day one. And now the trail's so dry, I'm afraid anything we get out could have been doctored with. And I think if there was any lists that they got destroyed. But I'll tell you, criminals don't make lists. Accomplished criminals, they don't say, oh, I did this on this date, this on that date, because it's just, and the one thing, a caveat, the big word for me, but for all my folks out in East Tennessee, anything y'all gotta watch is what that really means, is this manifest from this plane, because it doesn't necessarily mean somebody's a pedophile because they rode on his dadgum plane. Here's what's happened. I know rich people, and they travel by plane. I don't, of course, not a rich person. I make my own skateboard.
That's right.
But they, say I'm flying to New York. Hey, a buddy of mine's flying, is leaving tomorrow. My plane's down. He said, well, just ride with us. I'll hook it up. And they get on the plane, and it's Epstein's freaking plane, and he's not even on it. And so they're on the manifest, and then all of a sudden they could be labeled a pedophile. And I think that is some of the concern of the president right now, is that. But I think they ought to put that out if they put out a manifest, they ought to say these people are not under consideration, or they weren't flying to the island, or what have you. That's my thought on that. But I don't think it's like everything else in this town. The trail's gone cold a long time ago, and I think they didn't release it the first month, which I said they wouldn't, but you and I have said repeatedly that we're never going to get it. We're never going to get the trip. It's like, trust us to give you the Kennedy files.
And you don't think we got the truth on those files?
Hell, there goes another I got an IOU in the swear jar. That's gonna be the title of my country music.
Okay, because APL was on our show and she was hyping that Oswald was pretty much a CIA asset, and I mean, I thought that was very interesting.
Well, I asked the question of the
but
doctor.
You don't think we've got the truth?
Oh, well, I asked the question of the doctor that was in the emergency room, and it should have been worldwide history. And it should have been, boom, blows the lid off of it. He said that there was an entry wound and an exit wound, and they're going in opposite directions. I mean, the entry wound and it exited, and another one coming from the front, exited out the back. So there's obviously two shooters. According to this guy, he's a doctor. Why would he lie? There's no reason to lie at this stage. But, again, trail's gone cold.
I think the CIA killed him.
I think it was a combination of some people had willing, you had the mob, you had LBJ, and then somebody had to let their guard down. So I think it's a combination. Roger Stone wrote a book on it, and I think it's probably the definitive book on that.
Just really quickly, a couple fan questions here. Really quickly, when will we see members of Congress arrested or sitting senators investigated or suddenly becoming multi-millionaires while in Congress when their salaries are like $100,000 a year?
Never. You just, and the reason is you got 15% of the population voting, and they know what to do to stay in power, and they'll keep doing that, stay in power.
Question from Dapper Dave on insider trading. What happened to the push to stop insider trading in Congress? They made a big show and big hearings over it, and then nothing happened.
We have a bill, myself, Chip Roy, Paul, whatever, I can't ever get her name right, AOC, you talk about the most diverse crowd. Me and Chip Roy and those other two, and there's a couple other liberal Democrats in there. I mean, heads explode when they see us walk out. Should be like a wrestling match in there, in the corner. But no, and we're working on it. We're working on a bill, and we're trying to just get it down to final. And do I think it'll pass? Heck no. It'll pass the House, and the Senate will either not take it up, or they'll take up a version that's just a little different. And it's a better bill, and then they'll send it back over knowing that that's something that we won't. I mean, that's the game. And then guess what? We're on to another shiny object tomorrow. But it's that drives me crazy. People come in here and then they make all of a sudden their picture, their 300% return on, and my buddy Tommy Siler, he always gets mad. I'm not supposed to say his name, but he manages I'm up to about $13,000 in my mutual fund. That's what we have to cash it out because I got to pay for my daughter's school. So I'm going to be free of the market, so to speak. I'm just staying with baseball cards and comic books, which I'm selling, by the way. Trying to get out of debt. My daughter doesn't want them, so what the heck?
Final question. If you were in charge of the DOJ, what would you do to restore the faith of the American people? Seems to be a big crisis of trust right now.
I would fire everyone there and make everyone reapply, and then they'd have to verify that they could do a job and what the heck they're doing, because it's just too deep. Like I said, Trump comes in first term, he fires the head guy, thinking that'll do it, not understanding that layer is deep. It goes deep, and the corruption goes deep. And so I think you fire everybody, and then you make everybody reapply. And it allows a lot of patriotic Americans a shot at doing what they want to do, and that's bust bad people.
That's right.
And ultimately, I think, Cash Patel and buddy Dan Bongino, I think incredibly patriotic Americans. And they're like me, are very idealistic, but they're very realistic, and I'm sure their frustration runs deep right now.
Elon Musk is firing shots at President Trump again, and this time he's going after a raging itch Trump is unable to get rid of: the Epstein files.
It was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes.
Musk is now mocking Trump's claim that the files related to the federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein are a hoax. The ex-CEO posted a series of comments on the Epstein cases for the world to see. In response to a post showing a Department of Justice document titled The Epstein File Phase 1, Musk replied, "Where is Phase 2? He also engaged with another post that asked, "What happened to all the evidence against Epstein?" Musk simply replied, "Yeah, where is it?" When it comes to the Epstein case, there's one thing that the public overwhelmingly wants: a full release of all related documents. But the Trump administration is not delivering. On Truth Social, Trump even went after his own base, calling those pushing for transparency on the Epstein files weaklings. The official stance from his administration is that there's nothing left to uncover. Still, that position is raising eyebrows and doubts. But Trump now insists that the buzz around the Epstein case was a smear campaign pushed by the Democrats. The same president who once dodged questions about Epstein is now calling for the release of what he describes as credible information in the case.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Epstein, the disgraced financier, died by suicide in a jail cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The Epstein files consist of a rumored client list of individuals who committed sex offenses alongside Epstein. It's believed that the authorities are concealing details about the Epstein case to protect rich and powerful elites who are associated with him. But the Trump administration has insisted that no such list exists. After a major fallout with Trump in June, Musk dropped the bombshell. In a post on X, he claimed Trump was named in a document related to the Epstein case. That moment cracked open a Pandora's box. Trump, once an ally of Epstein, had previously told him that if he ran for president again, he would probably release files related to the case. But with Epstein gone, Trump is shifting his stance. His administration initially claimed there was no such client list, a statement that sparked serious questions about transparency. Now Trump appears to be distancing himself from the issue altogether, urging Attorney General Pam Bondi to release whatever she thinks is credible. Despite Musk's claim, there's no public documentation or confirmation that Trump is named in the Epstein list. Epstein's former lawyer even stated that he saw no information to hurt President Trump. But if there's nothing there, why does it feel like a major cover-up? Is Trump actually named in the files, or is Musk simply trying to damage the president's image?